Mentioned a second ago that new witnesses are coming forward. Who?
Well, new evidence is coming forward. There are things that are being revealed on an almost daily basis now. So we're having to integrate everything into our presentation of the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And
can you give me an example of that?
You know, well, no. No.
Got him! All right, guys. So when I told you that the Democrats' January 6th Hollywood production, a.k.a. the Democrats' political witch hunt, a.k.a. a waste of taxpayer dollars, was one of the biggest embarrassments going on in this country right now, I was not exaggerating.
Shay Moss up here is part of this broader story. These are the 4 witnesses we heard from today. Gabe Sterling, Brad Raffensperger, and Rusty Bowers, all of them describing the pressure they were facing. In previous hearings, we've heard from others who were on the receiving end of pressure, including someone that was mentioned a fair amount today, B.J. Pack, the former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Georgia, who resigned.
Okay, it truly is embarrassing, right? It is a shame that our politicians are spending millions of taxpayer money to do a political witch hunt that will lead to absolutely nothing. And they know it will lead to absolutely nothing. And that is why a majority of the American people did not watch the January 6th hearings last week. And in fact, 62% of Americans said they did not watch the panel's second and third hearings that were held last week, right? Of the 39% who did watch, only 11% say that they did in full, and only 28% say that they saw some. And most of those people were Democrats, right? Most of those people were Democrats. But if you listen to the mainstream liberal media, right, they was telling us that the January 6th hearings was the biggest event on TV because it's so riveting. There's so much suspense and excitement and drama behind this Hollywood production from the Democrats.
There's never been a bigger or more important story in American history than this.
This is the most important story in the history of the Republic.
These January 6th hearings are remarkable. They are riveting.
This was a historic, compelling hearing.
This is very compelling television because it's a very compelling hearing, and it's compelling. It's must-see TV.
I've been texting with a number of sources. I was texting people live during the hearing. The words that I was hearing from them were stomach-turning, riveting, compelling. One senator told me that he had a lump in his throat as he was watching the video and hearing this testimony.
One senator, I'm assuming he's a Democrat, said they had a lump in their throat, right, as they were hearing the testimony. And I'm sitting thinking, like, the only thing that these people have in their throat when it comes to January 6th is Trump's you know what, right? That's what was in his throat. That was all down his throat, okay? Couldn't get enough of it, right? So, again, this was so riveting. The biggest thing on TV, right? People were so excited and tuned in to watch this that the Democrats had to suspend the January 6th committee hearings indefinitely, right? Indefinitely. After today. And after today, they don't know when they're going to have hearings again. Citing new evidence. Now, allegedly, they're suspending it until July, but there's no set date. They don't really know exactly when they're going to continue these hearings, which means that they don't actually have a date, right? And the real reason why they are suspending the January 6th hearings, because it's not because they have new evidence like they're telling the public. It's because nobody actually gives a flying flip. And if you don't believe me, you can actually listen to the Democrats themselves.
Does the January 6th hearing break through at all? Is this more proof it does not?
I don't think it does. I've talked to 2 separate Democratic members of Congress in the last couple of weeks about January 6th. Obviously can't say who. And both of them have said offhandedly, nobody gives a bleep about January 6th when they're talking about their districts and the way that elections play out. The reality is, obviously, it's a very important issue. Obviously, like I've been covering this nonstop for the last year. It's important. It's a key part of understanding American history and the democratic trajectory that this country is on. It is also true, at the same time, and not at all contradictory, that it's not a top-tier voting issue for people who are figuring out who they're going to support during the midterms. Top-tier issues are material concerns. How are people paying their mortgages? How much does it cost to get milk and bread? How much does it cost to get gas? Do these hearings result in different electoral outcomes for Democrats? I have yet to see any actual evidence that they do.
Yeah. So apparently, according to two Democrats, okay, according to this person right here, they said it themselves that nobody from their district gives a bleep about January 6th. What have I been saying the whole time, right? Nobody is watching this. The mainstream liberal media tried to make it seem like all of America was watching January 6th. 20 million people tuned in. But when you actually look deeply at the numbers, right, those television networks that were airing the January 6th hearings lost half of their audiences from the previous week, right? Which means that when they turned on January 6th, half of America that usually watches their television channel at that time said, I'm going to turn this off, right? I don't want to watch this. Surprise, surprise. Nobody wants to watch Adam Kinzinger cry or Liz Cheney talk, right? Testify. It's like watching paint dry. Liz Cheney is boring as hell, right? Nobody wanted to tune in to listen to that, okay? Again, this is embarrassing. It really is. And I want you guys to understand, don't think for 1 second that if people were actually watching this, if people actually cared about this, that the Democrats would have delayed it. There's no way they would have delayed it. They would have kept the show going for as long as possible if the American people actually gave a damn about these hearings. But the writing's on the wall.
We're up 12%. Among Democrats, I will point out that we're down, but just 3%. But this is primarily being driven by Republican primary turnout. Look at this number. Up 29%. Whenever you see a rise like that, you know something's cooking. And here what is cooking is Republicans are really engaged. And overall, that has made the electorate also more engaged.
These are actual people showing up at actual polls to vote in actual primaries.
Yeah. Nobody cares. So it's like, we need to delay it till July. Go back to the drawing board, right? Go consult with our Hollywood production team and figure out how to market this in a way that people actually gonna care. And it's not gonna work. So with that being said, let's read about how the Democrats allegedly are gonna restart these hearings in July, but they don't know yet. So let's read here. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot is planning its final 2 live hearings scheduled next week to July after receiving a, quote, deluge of new evidence. Again, these are the same people, guys. When asked to present the evidence, right? When asked why they don't give their evidence to the Justice Department so that they can charge Trump with a crime, they either don't have the evidence, right? They're incapable of presenting the evidence that they claim they have, or they have some silly excuse for why they haven't, let's say, turned over the evidence to the DOJ yet.
Do you have evidence that he directed it?
I don't want to get ahead of our hearing. We'll show during our hearing what the president's role was.
You've been critical of the Justice Department for moving slowly. If you've done so much work, why not help them out?
Got him!
Well, we certainly will help them. We want them to particularize what they're asking for. And it's our intention when we conclude our investigation to make public our findings in great detail.
You mentioned a second ago that new witnesses are coming forward. Who?
Well, new evidence is coming forward. There are things that are being revealed on an almost daily basis now. So we're having to integrate everything into our presentation of the evidence. And
can you give me an example of that?
No, but
I'm dead, bro. I am dying, man. Wow. Where the evidence at? Well, I can't show you the evidence. Well, if you've done so much work, why don't you, help the DOJ out? Well, we can't help the DOJ out. We don't want to get ahead of them, right? And the DOJ, they're not being specific in terms of what we asked for. But it's like, you guys are the ones saying that Trump is guilty, that he committed a crime. Why don't you help the DOJ, give them the evidence so they can charge him? We got new witnesses. Who? What witnesses? I can't tell you the witnesses. Well, how you bringing all this stuff together? No, I can't tell you. I can't tell you anything, right? Again, these people are clowns, man. It's at the point, guys, where it's like, the only reason I'm even reading about this January 6th stuff or covering it is for comedy. It is literally comedy for me, right? And that's one of the things that keeps me going on my channel. I think some people wonder how I do this every single day so consistently. Because quite honestly, guys, this is entertainment, okay? Now, a lot of it is not entertainment, as, you know, it does have an effect on people's lives, and I cover a lot of things that are sad. But this right here, this January 6th hearing thing is just nothing but entertainment for me. Okay, it actually really is an embarrassment. It is comedy. That's what it is at this point, right? So, with that being said, let's read a little bit more about this and see when they're possibly going to reschedule these hearings. The Select Committee continues to receive additional evidence relevant to our investigation into the violence on January 6th and its causes, a spokesperson told ABC News on Wednesday. Following tomorrow's hearing, we will hold additional hearings in the coming weeks. We will announce dates and times for those hearings soon. So they don't know yet, right? They don't know. And you know what's fascinating is that they've been going on and on about this for, what, a year and a half now? How in the world are you having new evidence and witnesses a year and a half into the investigation? You done had an impeachment trial. Y'all done had other types of, hearings and things like that. Y'all have already done this. Okay, and you still are talking about how you're gathering evidence and more witnesses are coming forward. Man, if anybody is believing this or taking this seriously at this point, bro, get a mental health evaluation. I'm so serious. You're the most gullible person in America, right? If you actually think that something is going to come of this. Nothing is coming of this. This is a show. Chairman Benny Thompson later confirmed the move to reporters, revealing that the hearings have been pushed back after the committee received footage from documentary filmmaker Alex Holder, who filmed former President Donald Trump and his family before and after the Capitol riot, documents from the National Archives, and new tips that came in during the first 4 live hearings held the past 2 weeks. Thompson told Politico that the committee may add 1 or more hearings depending on the evidence, and they will likely be scheduled following the Independence Day recess. All right, so I'm going to tell y'all what evidence is. This is what it is. It is footage of Trump or his family, okay, saying something that probably taken out of context makes him look bad, right? But it will not be evidence that the man committed a crime, okay? There won't be any evidence of that whatsoever, because if they actually had evidence, the dude would have been charged by now, right? He'll be charged and he'll be doing the perp walk, right? Quote, there's been a deluge of new evidence since we got started. Committee member Jamie Raskin also told reporters while Representative Zoe Lofgren referenced a, quote, mountain of new information according to The Hill. Quote, I don't think we've established a date yet, but we have a mountain of new information that's come in that we have to go through, she told the outlet. As the committee reviews the evidence, they are also moving to make a decision on the next step they will take regarding members of Congress who have ignored the subpoenas they issued for testimony. AKA, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything at all. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, as well as Representative Jim Jordan, Scott Perry, Andy Biggs, and Mo Brooks were subpoenaed in May after they declined to voluntarily testify. At the time, Thompson said all 5, quote, have information relevant to our investigation into the attack on January 6th and the events leading up to it. And Thompson urged his colleagues to, quote, do their patriotic duty and cooperate with our investigation. Well, no, you should do your patriotic duty and just end the investigation, right? Do the taxpayers a favor. Stop wasting our money on this nonsense. On Wednesday, Thompson told reporters the decision will be made in the next week or 2. The hearings will likely not be pushed back much further than July, as the committee is expected to provide its final report on its findings in the fall. The committee is scheduled to hold the 5th hearing in its probe on Thursday at 1 p.m. It will focus on the former president's effort to allegedly corrupt the Department of Justice. Wow. Again, like I said, man, absolute embarrassment to this country. Absolutely embarrassing, okay? They don't have any evidence, real evidence that Trump actually committed any crime or his allies committed any crimes. They're canceling the hearing because nobody's watching it. Again, I would not be surprised if they actually just don't do them anymore, okay? And they just sweep it on the rug and act like it never happened and try to relaunch it once Trump announces that he's running for president. They might do it during, I don't know, primary season or something, okay? At this point, if you are still interested in these January 6 hearings and you think that something's actually going to come out of this, okay, you should go get a mental health evaluation, right? That, or you're either the most gullible person in this country. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.